to Off the Clock with Mo. Today I have a very special guest here. This is my brother-in-law of many years, my sister's husband. I believe we met before they met. Yeah. But anyway, this is my brother-in-law, Deshaun Coon from Inkster.
How you doing, everybody?
Today we just gonna, just let our hair down. We're gonna have a drink or two, so we can.
Good Friday.
Good Friday. Oh yeah, that's pretty good there. That's pretty good there.
Yeah.
So like I said, this guy he's from Inkster. I'm from Inkster. We met each other probably 2 or 3 days before we met my sister. But we have our backgrounds kind of ran parallel to one another. Yeah. Without it even knowing how parallel it was running.
Yeah.
And we both came from, different places. We both was on a different path, but somehow or another ended up on the same path. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of people out there in Inkster, out there, period, that's watching that know of you, but haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to?
Selling cars mainly, and staying out the way. Yeah, mainly just selling cars. I've been at that for more than 20 years now.
Ooh.
And that's kind of my story right now.
20 years.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years?
Yeah, more than 20 years.
Damn, it don't even seem like it's.
Yeah.
Shit, that was in the early parts of 2000?
Yeah, started back in 2001.
Damn.
Yeah,
2000. Yeah, shit, yeah, that's been a. Yeah. That's the same year my youngest was born. It's been time fly.
It do.
Time fly, man. Cause I remember we was doing some of the dumbest things.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Do you mind telling the people, where you were at compared to where you at now?
I used to sell drugs and carry guns and ran in gangs and been to jail multiple times. My rap sheet would probably hit the floor. You name it, and I sold it. So I guess I was always a salesman, at heart.
Right.
But just selling the wrong stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
When you was selling whatever it was you was selling, as far as narcotics or whatnot, did you see this day here? Did you see 2024, 2023, 2022?
Never.
And so forth?
Never.
What did you see for yourself?
I thought I was gonna be Tony Montana, Big drug empire, helicopter, yacht, naked women all over. Just an endless party,
Right.
But it didn't turn out that way, and I'll say for a lot of guys, when you get to a certain age, if you ain't the man, then it's time to admit that it's maybe time to do something else.
Right.
What I mean? Yeah.
So what was that transition? What was that transition like going from, having fast money to depending on someone else to determine how much money you do make other than yourself?
It was tough. And even before I got into cars, I had a couple jobs that, at the end of the week, you got the paycheck. You was just like, what the fuck is this? What do I do with this? This is just not worth it. And so, I tell everybody when I got my first paycheck selling cars, that was the closest thing to selling drugs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My first week was, I did 2 weeks, and I sold 5 cars in the first 2 weeks of being on the job. So
is that a lot of cars?
For somebody just starting, yeah. So it was almost like it was natural, like it was kind of meant to be.
And that was 5 cars in how long?
In less than 2 weeks.
So 5 cars in less than 2 weeks, in less than 14 days.
Yeah.
And in the sales, in the automotive sales, is that quite a few cars, or how does that range?
They range it by the average person is 7. but we talking 7 for 30 days.
7 for 30 days.
For 30 days. The average.
Well, what's in that gap? The 7 days, 7 cars in 30 days. What's in that gap when you at the dealership, when you coming to work and you 7 cars in 7 days? I gotta put in 40 hours a week just to hit 80.
Yeah.
What is it like in between those weeks of just 7 cars in 30 days?
Well, it's a lot of hunting for customers, you know. And for me, I kind of, you know, started telling my family, you know, like, hey, you know, I'm kind of selling cars now. It was like, what? Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, you need a car. You know somebody that need a car, you know. And so it was a lot of word of mouth, you know, and the dealership itself had a lot of business, so I was able to kind of practice on people coming in, but I would say I was happy. I got my first check,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at it, and I said, this can't be right. And so judgment call. Like, I like working here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I should go be honest if I think they paid me too much money. You know. So I go into the office and I said to my boss, who was a little short Italian guy, and I said, I think y'all made a mistake. And so I gave him the check. And he looked at it, he set it down, and he started punching nose in it. And he looked back at me and he said, man, that's your money, man. Fuck out my money. So it was on from that point.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, that was just 5 cars.
Now, do you remember your very first car that you sold?
Yeah, it was a it was a Buick Skylark, old used car. And this lady, man, she hemmed and hawed, and she looked at it, and she looked at it again, and she looked at it again, and she called a friend. And I mean, this thing was long and drug out, you know. But at the end, she did.
So your first car was a Skylark.
Buick Skylark.
What year was it?
Oh gosh, this thing had to be from the 90s. It was one of them little small, you know, when I think GM kind of made all their Cadillacs and they made everything small.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody, that's what they kind of thought people preferred, was a real small car at the time, you know. So yeah.
So a Buick Skylark.
Yeah.
Was your very first car.
First car, yeah.
Wow. And do you remember the sales pitch that you made on it? Or was the person referred to you, or they just walked in and you said?
She literally just walked in. Now, I knew nothing about nothing. And so what I did was there was guys in there that was really moving and shaking. I mean, they was customer after customer. And so I just kind of watched them and listened to the things that they would say. And it was about a good 3 or 4 of them. And then so I incorporated my game based off what thinking, because everything that somebody else say, you can't say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They could get away with saying some stuff, and you be like, "Whoa, I would never say that." You know? But it worked, so I just kind of had to pay attention to what they was doing and what they were saying, and just kind of emulate, you know,
right,
what they was doing. Yep.
Oh, okay. Then, all right. So I guess it's pretty fair to say that you pretty much mastered it now.
Yeah. I was able to just kind of that was like my beginning, and then I kind of came and kind of grew into myself.
So when did you know selling cars that I got this is it right here? Can't nobody do it better than me. You know, where your confidence was just out there to where it's like this is it. I'm not going back, because with cars, vehicles, period, and real estate, you have your ups, you have your downs. You got when you up, you up there.
Yeah.
When you down, you got to prepare
Yeah.
to weather this storm. Have you ever come across that point? And if you did, how did you navigate through it?
I tell everybody that's getting into it, it is a roller coaster. There is ups and downs. So when you up, save your money. So that way, when you down, you look the same, no matter what, you know. Because if you go out there and let's say you make $15,000, Now you at the club and you throwing $100 bills in the air, and you buying drinks for everybody, and you wake up in the morning, you ain't got no money. Now you back on your hustle, but now the next month you only made $4,000. You know what I'm saying? So there is you just got to kind of, make sure you save your money. But when I was always top 3 or top 5 at the stores that I worked at, and so that's kind of what told me, you can do this. You can do this, because I watched a lot of guys come and go.
Right.
They got 30 days and went by, they have sold one car.
One car.
You're not going to eat off one car necessarily.
Now, funny you say that, but at a minimum, how many cars, if they new cars, if they used cars, can you say you can eat off of for that month, paying your bills?
I would say it depends on your situation, but my goal was always 15 to 20. 15 to 20 cars every 30 days. And I mix them up, new and used, doesn't matter to me.
15 cars a month?
Yeah.
That's pretty high, because earlier you said 7 cars.
7 is average.
Yeah.
I'm definitely above average.
and how many of those are not repeat customers?
Most of it is repeat and referral for me. At this point in my life, most of it is repeat and referral. I do still take on new people, but not as nearly as much as I used
to. And what's the fallback on getting somebody new versus somebody that you don't have for years?
Your closing ratio on somebody that you've been dealing with is 60%. Your closing ratio on a person you just met for the first time is less than 10%.
And what's who is your longest running repeat customer? Well, how long have they been your repeat customer?
I've had people. Well, I have people today that been messing with me since the first store I started at. And so we talking 20 years. Like, literally, I'm putting their kids in cars now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what?
Met the kids when they was little.
Right.
They used to come to the dealership with their dad or their mom, and, you getting this one, you getting that one, okay, And to watch them grow up, and now they have driver's licenses, and now they're like, hey, my dad told me to come see you, man, you know what I'm saying? I want to,
How does that feel, selling the car to a child that you want to see running around the showroom?
Yeah, it's definitely different. And one thing I do enjoy about what I do is helping people on their journey of life. Everybody is on their journey, no matter where they are in life, and me helping them secure their transportation needs is helping them move their life forward. And so that's very satisfying. And that's right up next to, seeing somebody at the light that, you sold them their car,
So you be paying attention to the license plate cover.
Yeah, license plate cover. Like, that might be so-and-so. Pull up like, that's him. Hey, what's up, man?
Wow.
Yeah.
And during this whole entire journey, I see a lot of commercials, billboards, things of that nature. Have you ever been on a commercial, or have you ever been on a billboard? Or has anybody ever tried to sway you away from where you at now to come work for them?
Oh yeah. That we go to like dealers meetings, and they'll know me by my name. Because everybody's numbers and what they do is all in like a database.
Oh, it is?
And it's open to all the stores. So they'd be like, oh, so-and-so. And so they actually get a chance to put a face with the name. You know what I mean? And they always say, hey, man, if you ever looking, you unhappy over there, you come to me. I got a desk, I got a car waiting on you. You good, So, yeah, that does happen.
Has anybody persuaded you away from any dealership that you ever worked at? Or?
The place where I'm at now, the lady that used to own it, I met her at a dealer's meeting, and so she told me about her owning the dealership. Number one, she was a minority woman.
Oh,
and that was just like unheard of. So I was like, what, you own a store? She said, are you looking for a job? I said, well, I always got my ears open, And she said, well, come down and meet me and my staff and check out the store. And so, she's a very nice lady. The first thing I did was I went online and Googled the reviews for the store.
Right.
Because if the people don't like the store, then why would I want to work?
Right.
I want to be at the store that everybody avoids. So the reviews were great. I went down there. I met with her. I met with all the managers down there, and she say, "Well, I can give you a company car and most of your weekends to yourself." I was like, "Where do I sign?" And I've been there ever since.
Wow! And how long have you been there?
11, maybe going on 12 years now.
Oh wow! Yeah. Wow! Now, have you ever? I heard you say you done hit the top 3 and top 5.
Yeah.
But have you ever hit number 1?
Yes. I'm not gonna stunt like it's all the time, right? But yeah, my name's done been up at the top. Sometimes I take a picture of it, like, yeah, leading the pack.
Yeah,
number 1, number uno.
Right, man. Because like I said, coming from where we come from, and the things that's been done or been said and been witnessed, all type of stuff. It was never set up for us to win.
No, it's not.
It's never been set up for us to win, and to have that feeling of I'm winning, to have that feeling of I know somebody who's winning.
Yeah.
For me personally is something great to see.
Right.
That's something great to witness, because for me it says to me it says it doesn't really matter, how you started, but how you finish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How many times has life knocked you on your ass,
mm-hmm.
and how many times have you got back up swinging? How many times have you had to fall off and then start over, but never gave up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And I know you said something about the money aspect of it. And I remember a long time ago, when you first started selling cars, versus what you was doing. And I told you, and I remember telling you at one point, money's not always the answer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I believe money's not always the answer, because the way that you was making the money at one point came with drastic consequences.
Yeah.
Versus making the money that you making now, which can be less than which in theory could be less, but you still have a sense of security.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm not worried that somebody's going to try to do something to me.
Right.
When you're in the streets and you're doing your thing, somebody is always looking to knock you off.
Right.
They may be a little envious of how you doing it. And so they tag along with you to find out how you doing it, and then they try to figure out how to get you out of the way so they can do it.
Right, right.
And so when you are doing something, I have a friend who's a barber, and I tell him it's respectable, and you ain't gotta look over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody can respect a barber. Everybody can respect the guy who sells a car.
Right.
Same thing. So it's definitely something that you don't have to look over your shoulder. I sleep good at night, knowing that I'm safe and I ain't got to worry.
Right. And even knowing that, and witnessing that, my own aspect is that for myself, sometimes I wonder, like, how in the hell did I get the kids that I got doing the shit that I was doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With you, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The sky's the limit. Yeah. You mind touching up on that a little bit?
Well, one thing that I liked about sales is the fact that you're not capped.
Right.
A lot of people, you get a job, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you make that's it. That's all you get. Or you are an assembly line worker, and you getting 70,000. That's it. That's all you're gonna make.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I do like the fact that the sky is the limit, because there's no limitations on how much I can make.
Right.
I'm the only person stopping me. You know, so I can get to a point where my boss will call me like, this motherfucker done sold 20 cars and now he can't show up to work on time. Get that motherfucker in here. You know? I'm like, oh shit, let me go to work. He talking shit now.
Right. Yeah, man. You know? But what about the children, your kids coming from where you come from and where they at right now?
Yeah, man. You know, they know nothing. As to, maybe I shared a little bit with them, you know, but they don't know everything. And so my job as their father was to try to protect them from the different things, like put them in an area where I do believe in having your kids in an area that's diverse.
Right.
Like, because what I found out with a lot of black people is we when it's not just black people, they get a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They don't, you know, I wanted them to be in an area where you got Arabic kids, you got white kids, you got Asian kids, you know, just you get to know everybody's culture. I think that's kind of important. And so to look at them now and how they're thriving, I think that was a major part of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And they're doing well. I mean, you know, Desmond is just my life. Coming from where we come from and seeing a kid being interviewed by Harvard,
right,
and he got accepted to USC.
He got accepted to USC?
He got accepted to USC. We're waiting to hear about the scholarship for that. He got accepted to Columbia University, which is, I mean, two really.
Where's Columbia University at?
Man, you know, I had to look it up. I didn't know. It's in Manhattan.
It's in New York. Okay.
So to see him get accepted for that, man, that's huge. You know, that's huge. But my thing was, and I used to tell him all the time, like, hey man, you know, you can kind of, you know, chill out. We can do this, we can do that. He's like, no, I'm studying. I got to do this, I got to do that. He is driven and focused on his future, and that's just amazing. I'd like to take credit for it, but I don't know if I really can. You know
right. No, I
put them in an area where they could thrive. That's what I feel like I did. That was my job as a parent. Put them in an area where they could thrive, and they did.
No, I completely, I completely get what you're coming from. You know, when you say, I don't know if I can take that credit or not. You know, I can only put them in a place where they can thrive.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, about my youngest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She just
knocking out the park.
Yeah, you know, and like, well, shit, I don't know what the hell I did to contribute to this, but I know, but I know what they never had to encounter growing up as children.
Right.
You know, your children don't necessarily live a perfect life because we're not perfect.
We're not perfect, no.
But as
I think what we saw was different.
Yeah.
We saw drug dealing. We saw gang banging. You know, and our parents. It was just different back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was just different back then. But being able to put them in an area where they don't have all those distractions. You know what I'm saying? I would say a lot of times to a lot of people, like from my people, I was always told to do it a certain way. But when I stepped outside, I saw something totally different than what they was telling me. You know what I'm saying? So I will say to people a lot of times, like, I'm just really a victim of my environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody, you know, was doing a certain, and so I was like, well, shit, you know, I want Cadillac.
Yeah.
You know, I want name brand clothes. I want a pocket full of money. I want girls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what I saw these guys doing and getting. So I was like, hey, you know, and I just think that when you put kids in a different environment and everybody in their classroom is learning and they want to learn, you don't want to be last. Like, I don't want to be last in selling cars.
Right,
they don't want to be last with their grades.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I get that completely. You know, it's a drive and a motivation to want to be your best, but at the same time want to be the best.
The best.
You know what I'm saying? It's a drive. It's a drive and a motivation to it. And when you put your children, you know, someone that you give your all to, regardless if you got one or if you got 15 of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You give your all because you want them to have more than what you had.
Yeah.
I never understood that as a kid growing up.
Right.
I never understood that
Right.
even as a teenager.
Right.
You know, hearing people say, I want my child to, you know, to be better than me, to have more than me, to this, to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never understood that at one point, but now I really, you know, understand what that truly means when they say they want their child to do better than them, that to have more than them.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like you feel like, I mean, at this point, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And our kids are gonna not just surpass us,
Right.
but I mean, shit. I'm just happy that hopefully one day I ain't gotta be in a group home.
Right. Right. Me too. Shoot.
You know. So I mean, I mean, yeah, I get that 100%, man, and I have to, you know, like I told my uncle, I gotta give you my, you know, your roses, your flowers while you're here, because shit, you done came a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? You done came a long way, and I don't think that we have enough. I don't think we have enough of our own people, regardless of if it's family, if it's friends, or if it's a stranger, saying, you know, how proud they are of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that we need to get into that.
I agree with that.
More as far as telling everybody, like, man, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We need to do that more and more, you know, for each other. We can still bullshit around and talk shit to each other, but
the real is like, dog, hey man, you killing it, bro. Like, I'm happy for you, man. I'm proud of you, man. You know, like we kind of backwards, you know. We get a guy, he come home from prison, we want to throw him a party, we want to cook out, we want to do all this because he went to prison. But the guy who is at home and he going to work, he taking the wounds every day, he come home, he tired. You know what I'm saying? We don't get that guy enough props, man, because that's the real guy. And the guy that's coming home from prison can learn something from that guy.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
from that guy, you know?
I mean, all, you know, 100%.
Because I say working is a slow hustle, right? But again, at the end of the day, you ain't gotta look over your shoulder, man. You're doing good. And the guy that's sitting in the jail cell right now, wishing he could be you and be at home with his kids.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if, you know, if your home is a 1-bedroom, apartment home, but you get to wake up every day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You don't got to worry about nobody kicking in your door.
Right.
You know, and you go to work every day.
Right.
You know, and you just put your head down and your nose down, and you just keep on, you know, doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, and a part of that is that, you know, I noticed that, you know, every year with yourself, it's more or is better or just as good as last year or yesterday and so forth. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, you know, being a better person, being a better salesman, being a better father, being a better husband, being a better everything.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that you improved every year.
I try to.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't. To me, it's hard when you the one on the inside trying to look inside. You know what I'm saying? You don't see it because you just doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But when you like myself and I'm on the outside looking in, I can, you know, see those different moves that you made, see them different moves that you're making, see them different, see a difference in your walk, in your stride. You know, I can see all that. You know what I'm saying? And you, like I said, you come a long way. You've done a lot. You're still doing a lot. I don't refer quite a few people to you.
Yes.
You know,
and I will say this, you know, low key, I learned a lot from you and your family, because y'all showed me really a different way. And a lot of people ask me, well, you know, Sean, what makes you? And a lot of times, my family members, my friends, you know, I take a little piece from a little bit of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, and incorporate that into myself. So I, you know, like you just was, you know, talking about your uncle and stuff like that, man. You know, that guy had kids; he had to do it by himself.
Yeah,
man, I have a lot of respect for a guy like that. Man.
Yeah,
he had foes, you know what I'm saying? He had to do it by himself, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he had help.
Right.
You know, he had the family. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then I look at you, man, and you know, you was like, hey, man, I'm fed up. You went back to school. You know what I'm saying? You did your thing. You know what I'm saying? And look where we at today. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just, you know, I learned a lot from y'all too, man. I really did. Really did.
Oh yeah. I'm happy to hear that, man. You know, and you know, just You know, I mean, you know, I mean, I guess I'm kind of lost of words here, but it's just when they say hard work pays off.
It does.
It's just the definition of
yeah.
hard work.
Yeah.
You know, paying off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying something different with the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, something I'm trying to embark on, something I'm trying to perfect, and things of that nature, and that takes a lot of support.
Yeah.
You know, so you gotta have people that's gonna want to support you, but at the same time, you gotta have people that's not gonna support you. But you can't pay attention to the negativity. You know, it ain't gonna go nowhere.
Right.
The same thing you probably had to do with selling cars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
did anybody ever tell you that you wasn't gonna be successful at selling cars, or it wasn't the place, it wasn't the thing to do?
They never really came out and said it. You know what I mean? But you get a lot of people that they used to be like, "Are you gonna sell cars? Nobody buy no cars. This and that, and the other, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah." I'd be like, "Well, when you drive home from work and you sitting in rush hour traffic, do you think everybody got gifted them cars, or are they buying them somewhere?"
Right.
You know, I said you can't say it's impossible to sell a car because where do you live? You live I live in Riverview. Okay, well, great. Guess how many people's in Riverview? 50, 60,000 people. You don't think I can sell a few cars out of 50, 60,000 people? Right. I mean, they're all driving, right? I mean, they got to buy them somewhere. Everybody ain't just gifting cars to people. So when you look at it like that, and they go, "Oh, okay, all right, I guess, you know." And then I got a lot of people that, you know, and I tell them, I said, well, maybe the $5,000 car works for you. You know, but for some people it don't work. They won't be on the side of the road. You know what I mean? They just don't want that. You know what I mean? That's not, you want to be able to get to where you're going.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, but I used to hear, you know, "Oh man, you ain't gonna be able to do." I'm like, dude, do you know how many cars roll off of the assembly line in a day? Do you know how many people in the world? And I just said one city in my area has 50, 60,000 people. How many cities is around that area?
Right.
What, good 10, 15 maybe? You know, from the people, the mayor, he got to buy a car.
Yeah.
His council members, they got to buy cars.
Right.
And you trickle down to their family, they all got to buy a car. You know what I'm saying? So we live in Detroit. Let's face it, our mass transit system is next to zero here. So,
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have no subway system.
Nah.
We don't have no L.
No, kids got to learn how to drive. Everybody
we don't have no regular cabs that's just located everywhere you go.
Right.
You
we
know,
don't have it like that. You gotta buy a car.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. In this area here, in Michigan, period.
Yeah.
In Michigan, period.
Period.
You need some type of transportation. If it's anything from a vehicle, a snowmobile, a 4-wheeler, a motorcycle, you need some type of transportation. Because we don't have any subways, no L's, no type of reliable cabs. I mean, I guess we got Ubers and Lyft now, but you know, it's not like as if you were to live in New York or Chicago where you don't need a car.
Right.
You know, but we need cars,
we need cars here. We definitely need cars here.
You know.
Yeah, we don't. Our mass transit system is not like that, and they talk about it, building more mass transit here, but by us being the home of the big three, they don't want that.
Do you ever see it happening?
There will beginning to be. There'll be. They've always talked about a rail that's going to bring you from Ann Arbor to downtown Detroit, so you can enjoy our festivities downtown with our sports teams. You know, but in other cities that I've been to that have that same kind of rail, train, or subway system, there's somewhere you got to drive to park the car, to get on that, to ride it to where you want to go. So,
right.
You know, you still gonna need, and then it will help with traffic because you'll have less people leaving the Tigers game, leaving the Lions game, leaving the Red Wings game. They'll hop on those trains and they'll take them out to the suburbs and then get in their cars and drive home. You know what I mean? That
would be nice.
It would be.
That would be nice.
It would be. I would be game for it
because
the one they're gonna build should come right past my.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
To go to a game before you enter the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you enter the building.
Yeah.
I mean, you already got your car note.
Yeah.
You got your gas.
Insurance.
You got your insurance.
Yeah.
You got whatever maintenance. You got parking.
Mm-hmm.
You got you. I mean, it's a lot to drive a car.
Yeah.
In this state that don't have mass transit. I guess that's a good thing for you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is, because I always call it my pie, right? So my pie is pretty large right now because I got people all over the place. That's gonna need a car. If mass transit was to come along, then that's gonna shrink my pie.
Mm-hmm.
I won't have as many slices of pie to eat. So,
right.
Yeah.
So it's in your best interest. This never happened.
True. I will say this: what we need here, if not mass transit, what we need here is better insurance laws.
Yes,
because insurance is through the roof here to drive a car, and you will have more drivers if the insurance was less. And that's really what we need.
Well, you may have the same amount of drivers. You just may have more registered drivers with insurance on their car. Those are the ones that ain't being counted. That's all that is.
So they out there driving.
Yeah, they out there driving. They just mixed in with the rest of us.
Right. You won't find out who it is till they hit you.
Yeah, that's it. You get in the accident, you got to cross your fingers.
Right, I'm telling you. Hopefully he got insurance.
Yeah.
If he pull off, oh man.
And with you selling cars, being in the auto industry, I'm glad you said something about insurance. What part does insurance play when it comes to you selling the car versus say, what kind of cars do you sell?
Chevrolet.
All right, so versus you selling a Malibu compared to a Tahoe or a Cadillac or something like that.
The role that the insurance plays for me is sometimes the insurance company can determine what the customer is going to buy. So he goes, great. I like the payment on the Tahoe. We negotiated. I got the Tahoe I like. I got the color I like. I got the red I like. Everything's perfect. Now, let me call my insurance company to put insurance on it. And they may look at you and go, oh. Because they can't negotiate that.
Right.
It just is what it is. And so it doesn't happen a lot, but it's happened to where the insurance company literally, they gave them a rate that they couldn't swallow. And they was like, yeah, I wanted that Tahoe, man, but I think I'm going to have to go home and rethink this whole thing now because my insurance is going to be too high, or that Malibu insurance is going to be too high.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple people come from out of town. Like, for instance, I had this lady from Alabama. And when she got her insurance rate on her car here in Michigan to drive, she looked at me. She said, she went through with it. She hung up the phone. She said, do you know my insurance in Alabama for full coverage was $75 a month?
$75?
$75 a month. Her insurance here to drive a car was $275.
Damn.
Yeah.
And what city?
The deal almost went south. And look, here you got a middle-aged white woman who moved. She was originally from here. No, she moved here from Alabama because she met a man. So her and the man getting together. He said, well, come on from Alabama, come to Michigan, live with me, baby. I got a house. I got it all set up. So she was getting her car situation taken care of. So she had her some good transportation here. And, yeah, $275 a month. I said, damn.
Did she go back to Alabama or she stayed here?
She stayed here. She stayed here. I'm like, brother must be doing his thing, right? $275
versus 75.
For $75, man. That's just the difference between living in Alabama and living in Michigan, insuring the car.
And did she stay in the city of Detroit or outside the city?
She stayed outside of Detroit, man. She's in the suburbs. She's downriver. Downriver. That's where she was going to be. But for one car. And so I shared with her. I said, well, you may want to talk to your friend, because sometimes what you can do to make it cheaper is y'all jump on the same thing together. I mean, y'all living together, and then I'm married, whatever. I ain't gonna do with all that.
Right.
But y'all may want to do that together and try to save some money. You know what I mean? So. So
what you saying is, if you have a roommate,
right,
y'all living together,
right,
2 separate cars,
right,
and my insurance is $275,
right,
My roommate insurance is $300.
Right.
We put the car on the same
Yeah.
policy.
Same policy together.
And how much you think we could save?
It may be $300 for both cars, but now instead of paying $275, you're paying $150. You know. Yeah. And so that's what I shared with her today. And then the people that say, for instance, the people we talked about that, you know, they've been riding bold for a while. They finally decided to go ahead and get it together, but they ain't been on no paper in a while. And their insurance could be like $500-600 a month. Because they're going to put them in a pool, and then for them first 6 months, they're going to be paying $500-600. And then after that, they're like, okay, well, we guess you're a good driver. We can go on and lower it down a little bit. But in the meantime, you know, they like my man, they eating, right? $500-600 a month. I've seen people do it. I've seen people pay it. You know, I had to go to the bathroom, and, you know, because I'm like, I know what I'm paying. I'm like, it ain't nowhere near that, you know.
Ooh, I know. I don't want. It was an insurance. I don't want to advertise nobody, but it was an insurance company I had used a few years ago that I had got, and it was cheap as hell. Yeah. You know, when I moved to this house, cheap as hell. Yeah. You know, compared to what they wanted when I stayed in when I stayed in the last city I was in, which was predominantly black. Right. Them motherfuckers wanted $500 a month where I lived at there for no fault. And then when I moved here, all they wanted was $48 a month.
Yeah, and that's something else they got to stop doing. All the red lines and stuff.
Yeah.
People in the suburbs get into accidents just like people that live, you know, in other places.
I don't think it's the accidents that they worried about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they worried about things happening to your car, but things happen to your car anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Anywhere.
I just think they should stop. They shouldn't be able to use that as a tool to charge somebody more than somebody less. I mean, that's almost like a form of discrimination a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that part I do. I think they should, based off each individual. Mm-hmm. We're gonna start everybody off at this right here.
Everybody
this month, right here, this year right here. Yeah. Everybody that comes into this, you're gonna start off right here at this. Now, if your car gets stolen, it's shooting up. Somebody hit you, hit it. Right. Shooting up. Right. You get a ticket. Right. It's shooting up. Yeah. Anything where you gotta make a claim is gonna shoot up. Yeah. But because Sally car got stolen next door or 2 blocks over or whatever. Right. Why I gotta pay for that?
I gotta pay for that. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, I ain't made no claim. Yeah. Sally made the claim.
Right.
You know.
She ain't got nothing to do with me.
I ain't tell her to get no damn charge. She had a charge on her own. Right. Everybody knows people steal them cars.
Right, all the time.
Yeah. You know, and I'm just like,
that's the car you definitely got to park and look back at.
Yeah.
Make sure.
You know. Yeah. You know, so and speaking of that, you know, how is it trying to sell somebody a car that just had their car stolen?
You know, for a while, our Malibu and Equinox was getting airbags taken.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, the thieves had got so good, they would take the whole steering wheel. It was easier to take the whole steering wheel off your car. Like, I watched a video where a guy, I mean, literally in 10 minutes, and this was including the owner coming outside to see him going down the driveway with her steering wheel, you know what I mean? 10 minutes. He got it into the little back window, unlocked the door, whatever he did, took the steering wheel out, and was going on down the driveway with it. So we went through that for a little while, and I think what kind of helped us out was they got this group called the Kia Boys, and they've been stealing them because you can steal them with your phone, they say. So that kind of took the light off of us and put it on the Kia. So now we ain't got to worry too much. But yeah, the insurance rates was higher on the Malibu and Equinox for a little while because they were stealing the steering wheels off the car, getting the airbags out of them. Because airbags can be, you know, $800 a side, depending on who you sell them to, from what I hear. You know.
So how, I mean, yeah, but who are what type of customers are the airbags serving if everybody got a car with an airbag?
Yeah, so the conspiracy theorist part of me says that it's the shops that's buying the airbags from the people who stealing them.
No, so when you say shops, like private shops,
like private repair shops.
Uh-huh.
Now that's just, I don't know it to be true, but it just seems to me like, you know, your airbag gets stolen, you bring your car to me, and now I can kind of finagle the insurance company a little bit because I already got 12 bags in my storage area over here that I can put in your car, and now you all set.
But once the bag is, I guess the bag isn't deployed then?
It's not deployed. They just taking the whole thing out of the car. It has not been deployed. It hasn't. So they're just taking it out. And so if I can take it to the shop, to a collision shop, and say, hey man, you know, I got a couple of Malibu steering wheels in my thing, you know.
Yeah.
They can take the bag out, put the bag in the person's car and repair it. And instead, so they charge the insurance company one thing, and they satisfy the customer and they pocket the rest, you know.
So are they putting a whole new steering wheel in that vehicle, or are they taking
take the airbag out and put the airbag in the new steering wheel that they get from General Motors? I'm assuming, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
all about the money, you know.
Yeah, it just baffled me that people was just stealing. Yeah. You know, airbags.
Yeah, because I got an airbag I stole them to do with it.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it, you know. You know, they used to do the same thing with rims. You know, you get a customer who buy a car that is just the basic car, got the basic wheels on it, and he come take the car, the loaded car, he get the wheels off that car, and now he can put them on his car, or he can take it to the shop and sell them. So that way, when the person pull in and they go, okay, you know, my wheels got stolen off my car. Oh, I got a set back here, you know.
Yeah, fit your serial number.
Yeah.
You gonna sell my own shit back.
Yeah, it's just like getting robbed, and then you find your shit at the pawn shop. You know, you walk in the pawn shop going, hey man, where'd you get that chain from? Here's a picture of me last week with that same chain on, you know. Like,
So when the whole airbags with the Equinoxes and things was going on, was it more difficult to sell cars?
Because some people would shy away from the car because they don't want the hassle. Because, you know, if you got to call your insurance company and make a claim, well, they finna charge you more money. They're going to replace your stuff, but then your next bill going to be a little more than it was before because, you know, they got to get theirs too. So, yeah. And they became a little hard to sell. You got some people going, well, you know, I live in so-and-so. You know, they not stealing airbags over there. I ain't got no worry. I'm about to car and go on about my business, you know.
Yeah.
And you got the people that go, well, you know, hey, I like to go to so-and-so and hang out. I can't have a car like that because, you know, somebody might do something to the car.
Right.
So it's just, you know, what they say, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's something else.
I'm telling you, man, it's one of the things that always remind me, you know, different people make the world go round, right?
Yeah, everybody make the world go around. Everybody make the world go around. Shit, yeah. If you need something on the black market, it's there somewhere.
It's there somewhere.
Yeah, no matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, now the consequence that go behind it is something different.
Yeah, because I know we talked about the charges and that, and I've seen where there's a couple of stings where, you know, they follow these guys to where they steal, like they let them steal the car, and then they follow them to where they're going, and find out they got parts from all these cars in here, all these different anything, you know, the Durango, the Challenger, they got parts because that's what they've been doing, you know, and I remember sharing with an officer, he was a client of mine, and he's telling me about it, and I said, well, how is it security is letting us get away with it? And he looked at me and he said, well, you know, we think security got something to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, because how is it, you know, they always getting these cars, because they building these cars in Detroit, and they stealing them right out from the plant. Where the plant's supposed to put together. They taking it from there.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit, you know. He said, yeah, you know, sometimes, you know, you throw the security guard a couple bucks and, you know, he go take a lunch or something. And he don't happen to see what's going on, but it's got to be somebody on the inside always, you know.
Right. I mean, especially when you have, because like most of these dealerships or even just the big three themselves, you know, they hire just regular security per se.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which You sit there in the car.
Yep.
Motherfucking light goes around in a circle.
Yeah.
You fall asleep.
Yeah.
You watch a movie.
Yeah.
You doing something. You getting paid $13, $14 an hour. And car gone. I don't offer. I don't offer you $6,000.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
You know. And so I got a client who also owns a dispensary, and he told me they pay their security guards top dollar because they don't need them fall. They don't want them falling asleep while somebody break in the dispensary and steal all the weed out the motherfucker. You know. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Yeah. You know, so I at these plants because they just hire, I guess, security companies. And then the security companies, a lot of times, they make you get a part-time worker. You know, I'm making $10 an hour off you, and you only getting $6.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's very easy to do. But he told me in dispensaries, we make sure these guys is getting paid because we want them to watch our stuff. We don't
they got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah. I mean, he got $1 million operation.
I mean, you David got to be a millionaire just to open up
a dispensary. Yeah, that's true.
Now, speaking of that, have you ever thought about getting your own car dealership or getting your own franchise, or however GM does it or Chevrolet does it?
Yes, I definitely have thought about that. And it's been many steps to try to work towards that. Like if it came my way, I definitely wouldn't shy away with it, but it's a pretty huge investment. And a lot of times what you want to have is what they call a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And that person kind of puts that up for you. So it's all about, like I go to different things to try to, again, put a face with the name. So that way when I say, hey, I would like to own a store too, because I've known guys that have been sponsored in the program. The guy I work for now got sponsored in the program. He's been successful, but there's also others that not so successful, So, but it's something that I definitely have thought about, and if I get the chance to, I definitely would, because I try to rub elbows and go to different things where these guys that I know are there. And always talk to them like, and even talking to the guy I own about maybe sponsoring me, but sometimes it's a little harder to get into that club.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So I will still strive for that every day. So yeah, that's definitely a goal. Because by doing it so long, I kind of know the ins and outs and everything about owning a dealership, and a few things that I don't know. I know enough people in it to be able to ask someone like, hey, how do you do so and so? And then I often thought maybe even just doing a used car store, because that would be something that I could do almost like that.
Right.
Where I just sell used cars, but.
Now, would it be used cars, just used cars, or used cars through Chevrolet or something like that?
It would just be used cars.
Okay.
It would just be used cars. And so the chances, when you look at the percentages of businesses like that surviving, it's not a high number, but it's definitely something that it's easier to get into than having a store that has brand new cars.
So do you think if you was to start off as a used car salesman, that you could possibly end up going to like a Chevrolet dealership, or do you think once if you get into used car selling, that it's just gonna be like digging a hole that you can't get yourself out of?
And that's the thing. So when you talk to a lot of people, when they start something, they always talk about jumping out on faith. And for me, right now, the position that I'm in my life is getting these kids to where they need to be.
Right.
Right. Once I'm secure and where they are, then it's just me and my significant other, and I can kind of say, okay, let's take this chance and jump out here and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But when you have a kid, you don't really want to gamble that position. You want to keep them.
My kid a millionaire. Hey,
right?
Hey,
right.
Your daddy mortgage needs to get paid.
Right. Right. Or if it comes to the point where it's just me and her, and we'll eat dinner tonight, it's not a big deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you have a kid, it's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that I need to see how their situations is gonna play out, and then at that point, when I'm looking at that hand, I can say, okay, I'm gonna walk into Chase tomorrow and get $500,000 and start a used car store. You know what I'm saying? So whatever she doing at that time, fuck that. This is what we doing now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You do the paperwork in the office. I'm gonna sell the cars, and we gonna do this until we can do better.
Right.
And then once you've done that for a long period of time, and you can take it in there, and I can go downtown to the General Motors building and walk in there and say, on paper, I've owned my own store for 10 years.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. I'd like to have a store that has new cars and these cars.
Right.
And they'll look at me and say, well, shit, all right. You know, because the guy that I worked for was Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to his brother-in-law, who was a doctor, and he borrowed $50,000 from his brother-in-law. He went to General Motors and said, because he was already selling used cars, went to General Motors and said, hey, I want to get a new car franchise, which was Oldsmobile at the time. And they ended up granting him the money that he needed to start the business. And he told me, he says, we just made you a millionaire, is what they said to him.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, man, look, and I can't do this then, you know, he was happy, but at the same time, he knew he had a lot of work to do in order to make his store successful. And right now, that store is almost owned by the grandson.
Oh, wow.
So they've been around a long time.
Man, I think that, you know, I mean, not just because I'm biased or anything of that nature. You know, I think that you could possibly, or I know that you could get a franchise, used or new, and shoot it forward.
Yeah.
I don't know if the kids would want it afterwards.
Yeah, right.
But I do know from what I've seen, you know, from you and what it is that you do, I do believe, you know, without being biased and with being somewhat biased, that you could literally get a dealership. If someone even said you're the general manager, you could general manage a brand new dealership. I think that you can, you know, even own a dealership regardless if it was a used car owning dealership or a dealership with both new and used. But I do know for sure that I could see you GMing a store somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So have you ever thought about even trying to be a GM at one of the Chevrolet dealerships?
So what's next for me right now is finance. I've sold a lot of cars. I know the ins and outs of selling the car and how that goes. So the next step for me is to do finance. So now I'm not actually selling the car. I'm going to get you approved. I'm working with the banks now to get you approved on selling the car.
Right.
And so that's the next step that will be coming up here shortly. That's what I'll be doing.
So would you still be selling cars, or you just gonna be in financing by itself?
I'm just gonna be doing finance by itself.
So you'll be the person in the back, in the back when the dealer walks to the back and say, "Let me talk to."
Yeah.
And they come talk to you.
Come out and say, "Hey, come on, follow me. I'm gonna get you signed up for your paperwork. I'm gonna go over your payment, your interest rate, what you pay for the car, everything. That's gonna be my job is to get you a loan for your car. That's the next step.
And your percentage of a raise will be from what percentage to what percentage? From 25% to my raise now is going to be at 45%.
So when you do finance, I'm going to get money from the dealership, but I'm also going to get money from the banks too as well. And so my boss will say, when we talked about it, he says, well, what you make selling cars is what these guys in finance is making too as well. So that begins to say that's that you're overachiever.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm taking home, he's taking home too. But I look at it like this: well, if we taking home the same, he's in management and I'm not management, that means I'm probably going to be above average in that field too.
Right.
But the main thing in it is to take the next step to say, okay, one day I can GM a store. I don't know parts that well. I'm not a parts guy. I'm not in the service department. I don't know that. But if I know sales and I know finance, and then the next step would be to either manage the store, and then general manage. But I'm thinking, if I can do well enough in finance, I'm gonna try to leapfrog. I'm gonna try to leapfrog them other steps and say, hey, why don't you sponsor me in a program so I can own the store? And the only thing about sponsorship is, if the store is in Nebraska, I gotta go to Nebraska. If the store is in Texas, I gotta go to Texas. If the store is in New Jersey, I gotta go to New Jersey. Wherever they have it, where it's available, I gotta be willing to go there. So that's what it is.
So with you with saying that is, if that's what you want to do, when do you think that you will be ready to say, Texas, here I come? You know, black gold.
So, owning a dealership, running a dealership, your percentages of being a millionaire are very high if it's successful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it doesn't matter to me where it is. I'm going to go, I'm going to run that store, and I'm going to make that store successful, because failure is not an option.
Right.
I've came along this far. I got to win. You know what I mean? So that's yeah. So when I look at it and say, if somebody told you there's $1 million waiting for you in Arizona, you got to drive. Well, we're on the road. We're on the road. You know, we're on the road, because even for my kids, if this is not their field, I will say to them, if you take over this store, you're gonna be a millionaire.
Right.
So that's great. All your accomplishments, I'm happy for you. It sounds like, dude, that's awesome, right? But if you're not making $1 million, your dad found $1 million, it's in Arizona.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I get too old to do what I'm doing, I'm gonna do it for a long time, because I still got a lot of kicking left to do. When I'm done, this is you.
Right.
This is you. Come on out here. You know, whatever you got going on, I'm sure you can find somebody to do that. Right? But this is what we call generational wealth. It's what we passing down.
Yeah. I'm
passing it down to you. You're going to have kids. You pass it down to them. You know what I'm saying? So we just keep this thing rolling. You know?
Right.
Till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, I believe that, you know, if you see that, you know, within yourself, I think, you know, if any man sees any type of improvement, you know, with themselves, I say go for it.
Yeah.
I say go for it, you know, because I know a lot of people say, you know, work from the bottom, work your way up.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in that, and then also sometimes I also believe in shit. Why I started down? Why don't I start up here and work my way down? Because if this don't happen here, I just keep coming down. Because if I started down here and it don't work, where else I'm gonna go?
Right.
I can't go nowhere else. But if I started up here at the top and work my way down, I can work my way down. You know what I'm saying? So if saying you want a sponsorship, do whatever it takes to, you know, do whatever you can do within your means to get that sponsorship for that brand new used car sales dealership. If not, okay, well shit, let's go down here to the next step. Let's go down to the next step, because eventually I'm gonna get up here.
Get up there.
But when is the question?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all the time the thing. And so I'm still young enough, I figure, in the game, not kind of like my what's on another subject, but not kind of like the young guys that I'm working around with now. You know what I mean? But I am young enough that I can still see myself achieving that goal. And so even if it's the next 10 years, I'm still young enough to achieve that goal. Yeah. You know?
And I say go for it.
Yeah.
I say go for it. And shit, they doing poker. Shit, here we go. Put all your poker. Yeah, put all your.
All in.
Sometimes you gotta. Well, not sometimes, but when you believe in something, you gotta bet on yourself each time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can't have no doubts in yourself on what it is that you are gonna do, what it is that you want to accomplish. You know, things of that nature. Because once you put in your head, Well, I might do it. Well, that's very much well. You might
You might just do it.
Yeah, you put in your head that I'm gonna do this.
Yes, yes.
This is what you're gonna do.
Yes.
Because you're driven to that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I say, by all means, I mean, shit, go for it. Do it. Make it happen.
You know, I'm telling people in Michigan, you know, wherever the store is, like, hey, don't worry about it, man. I'll ship the car to you. You good, you know? Because I got to get going. And so your base is going to be the people that you know. But if I'm out of state, then it makes it a little tougher. You know what I mean? And then these stores generally have people in them already. So you got to go in them and evaluate, okay, what I got here. She does billing. He's running parts. He's doing your body shop. This is your sales staff. Well, your sales staff got to be up to par because you need them to get you to the next level. You know what I mean? So now I got to get them on a vision and a plan to run the stores, because a lot of times when you get into this program, a lot of these stores may be suffering. And so they're saying to you, take this store and turn it around. And so you got to be able to go into this little, you know, a lot of times it may be just a rural town store where you go in there and turn it around. Turn up, you know.
Yeah, I believe that, you know, you watch football just as much as I watch football, right?
Yeah.
You pay attention to the players that go to these teams. Yeah. You pay attention to these coaches, and you pay attention to these GMs and things like that. Yeah. I mean, if there's no other motivation to say do this,
right?
I mean, you got to look at the Detroit Lions and Dave Campbell.
Yes.
You got balls of steel.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I got a plan.
Yes.
I'm going to stick with it.
Yes.
And I'm going to run this plan either till it fails or till it succeeds at 100%.
In fact, there's a saying right now that we took from the Lions, and that was grit.
Yeah.
You have the grit to go in there and take something and make it into something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we got that from Dan Campbell and the Lions. And I use a lot of football analogy in what we do. You know, and I say to the boss, I say, well, you know, over the last years that you've owned it, you know, we've had a lot of different coaches. And so, you know, part of making a successful team is consistency.
Right. Having
the same coach preach the same things over and over and over. But if you're going to get rid of the coach every 2 years, then you got your starting QB, because now he got a whole new playbook he got to learn. You know what I mean? And sometimes that just don't go over as well as you like it to.
Right,
you know
right.
So, yeah, I use a lot of football in what we do, because, we do watch a lot of it. And, you know, like this week that I'm in right now, it's the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing the game now with 2 or 3 minutes left, and I'm still scrambling out, trying to get a touchdown, you know, to win the game. So
yeah, man. And I think that if you know, you put your mind to it the same way you did when you sold your very first car.
Yeah.
Till where you at right now, and so forth, to where you say, I want my own dealership.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't rub these elbows, and I also think this too. I was thinking about earlier when you said it. You know, when you sell cars to somebody here, a lot of times people know other people out of state, out of town that's looking for a car.
Yeah.
You know, and if you had a name that you have, my dealership is moving out here where you is. Yeah. Maybe 45 minutes away, maybe an hour away, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
They coming.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. They coming. If you are who you are, they gonna come.
Yeah.
Cause everybody wants to be able to get the best bang for their buck, no matter what it is that you get, no matter what it is that you get or you receive, or whatever it is that you want, because being comfortable and getting the best bang for your buck, regardless of what it is, it don't matter if both products had the same sticker price.
Right.
But if I feel I'm getting the best bang for my buck through you, and in your car the same price, this car down here, I feel more comfortable with you. I know you're not lying to me.
Right. Yeah.
This person down here may be lying to me.
You took the words right out of my mouth. So the most thing I find out, it's not always the price. It is how that person is handled, how they're treated, how they're respected when they come into your store. They could be anywhere. And a lot of clients for me, here in Down River, You know, sometimes they live in Sterling Heights. Sometimes they live in Novi. Sometimes the last customer I had was from Rapid River.
Wow.
The UP.
Yeah.
But he heard there was a guy in Woodhaven that'll take care of you. I swear to God. And he drove all the way down. Him and his wife drove all the way down and picked up their new Silverado and went home. You know what I mean? Because they're like, well, let me back it up. They were originally from that area.
Right.
That's how they heard about me. But they sold their home and they moved up north. That was their dream. You know what I mean? But when talking to friends and family about where to buy their car from, it's, oh, no, man, you got to come see my boy, man. My boy, man, you know, he can look out, he can take care of you. And they came down, and I took care of them.
And that's the part that I see that I'm not sure if you see it from the inside looking in.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't.
On the outside looking in, I just seen somebody who moved up north. You said to the UP?
To the UP.
And people in UP look at the UP as being separate.
Rapid River residents root for the Packers.
Yes.
Because that's how close they are.
And these people made a detour to come over the Mackinac Bridge.
Over the Mackinac Bridge.
That's a drive in itself,
yes,
you know, the Mackinac Bridge.
Yes.
And then get to the Lower Peninsula,
Southeast
and then come to the very bottom of the damn state, just to go right back up to the very top of the state.
And so I would look at it, and what sometimes keeps me on the outside is because I understand the outside. When you're on the outside looking in, that's the best vision. So in this particular situation, on the outside looking in, do you know how many stores they pass? How many stores that sell Chevrolets that they pass coming down to get to me?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like, damn, you know, like I couldn't give them enough stuff. Enough hats, enough koozies, enough bags, enough T-shirts, you know, whatever.
You want another key ring?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't give them enough stuff.
Hey, we got some stock in here. This is supposed to be for the Lions championship, but they didn't win. But you want this? You know, I mean, but that just has to say, for me, that says a lot about you as a salesperson or just as a person in general. Because it's one, for me, it's one thing to be a salesperson. There's another person to be a person that sells.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a person that sells, and you're not just a salesperson only, that's what makes people want to keep coming back to you because they don't feel ripped off.
Right.
They feel like they got something out of this.
Taken care of. Yeah.
You know, and that's why I think that if you wanted to, you could venture out there and become that owner, that GM, that manager, that whatever it is that you know that would satisfy you the most.
Yeah.
Whatever venture you go out for, I believe that you will be extremely successful in this, just because you came from, as you said, you know, selling drugs. It's fast money. I get this money. I got this money. Everybody come to me. I'm pulling knots out my pocket. So now I'm selling cars now, and shit. I'm great at this, and I ain't got to worry about nobody raising me.
Nothing.
And not only that, now I got people over time. It didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen overnight. But shit, just yesterday, somebody came from the UP to drive up from the very top.
Yes.
To come to the very bottom, to get a car from me and then drive their ass right back
up to the
very top.
Right back up to the, not only that, they rented a room.
Yes.
I mean, they drove down that night, they rented a room, they was there in the morning to get there, you know, I had to have my black ass on time.
Yes. they made a trip for you.
They made a trip for me.
Yes.
And that's huge, man. I just, you know, and so my thought process was this. If they would do that, they know other people that do that.
Yes.
Too. They neighbors, they, you know, whoever they meeting up. Like the guy told me, I belong to a snowmobile club. So my thing was, shit, you got to roll out the red carpet for these people, because when they go back home, all I want them to come out of their mouth and say was, oh my God, this guy was great. You know, he did this, he did that. I just, you know.
That's pickup truck sales.
Yeah.
That's pickup truck sales.
Everybody up there need a truck.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And you want to go a little further.
And the crazier part is, we from two different walks of life.
Yes.
I'm from the hood, right? this dude, you know, he's a fisherman, he hunts, you know what I'm saying? That we from two different walks of life. Like how we said we started off on two different, and we met up, and he's like, damn, this dude is all right. He cool. You know what? My man told me you was good people, and damn, you good people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I'll be thinking like, damn, I wonder if he even know any other black people. You know what I'm saying?
he may not. He may not know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to judge a book on its cover.
That's true.
But it's a real good chance that he don't know another person like yourself.
Yeah.
That they will make this trip for him.
Right.
You know, ain't nobody sick. Right. Ain't nobody dying. Right. It's not a funeral. It's nothing of that nature.
Yeah.
I'm coming down here to give you my money.
My money. Yes.
It takes a lot for somebody to make that trip to say, I'm coming to give you my money.
I mean, it's time more than anything. Because I always say I'm a crazy person on time, right? So, 7:51 on 329, you'll never get back again.
Right.
It's gone. As soon as it hits 7:52. So whatever you did at that moment, you're not gonna get it back.
Right.
It's done. It's done. And that was that's an hours trip. I ain't never even been up there. We just talking about this morning. I ain't never even been up there.
Me either. I've been wanting to go up there.
They had a trip going up there, and it was funny because I'm talking to the wife this morning, and she's like, "Well, it's beautiful." She just kept saying, "It's beautiful up there." Like she may want to go, but I'm trying to convince myself it's the right trip to go on. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I do want to go up there. I do want to go up there. I do want to drive across the Mackinac Bridge. Yeah. I have looked for cabins up there.
What's in my mind right now is that bridge has just collapsed. That's in my mind right now. I'm not a fan of bridges at all.
Yeah.
But after watching that happen today, and then having somebody I know go, well, can you drive Corvettes across the bridge? I'm like, why the fuck did that? What was this, a restriction on what kind of car can go across the bridge? I mean, you know, but then I thought about, remember years ago, they had the Yugo situation where the Yugos was born. Well, I won't say Yugos, but there was a Yugo years ago that when the wind was heavy, that car was crossing the Mackinac Bridge and it blew it clearly off the bridge, bro. Into the water. That was a long time ago.
I think I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah. And so, you know, man, I freak out on bridges, bro. We went to New Orleans, right?
Oh, yeah. That was a crazy.
Man,
the water
when the bridge raised up in the air? Dude, I was in the car freaking
No,
out.
not that. I remember that part, but the part I remember was going across the bridge and the bridge and the water level was the same.
Yeah.
And there wasn't no room to go around if your car broke down.
Listen, so we was going to the 9th Ward. We sitting on that bridge, and I saw the bridge raise up because they had the traffic stopped, right? And I told her, I said, listen, man, if there's any cars on that shit, I'm getting out the car and walking back the other way right now. Y'all let me know how it was when you get across because I'm not going. She said, fool, ain't no cars up there. They clear it off and then they raise it up. So when it came back down and it was safe to drive across, he said, you see ain't no cars over there? I was like, all right, we good then.
Man.
I was freaking out.
I remember that bridge. Yeah, I remember that bridge.
I'm not a bridge. I don't like bridges. If I'm driving, I'm pedal to the metal, getting across it because fucking give me the speed ticket. But you're gonna give me the speed ticket when we get across it. I don't like them, man. I'm not, And so watching that bridge collapse the way it did in Baltimore made me think like, no, I don't know if I want to go across there, man. I don't know. And she just kept saying it's beautiful, okay? But we do what we can for our ladies, right? So,
right.
And really can't push the shove our man up and do the shit, but right now, fuck that bridge.
I can stand the delay that trip a little bit longer.
A little bit longer, yeah.
I like
How about Sault Ste. Marie?
I had wanted to go up north though. I had wanted to go up north to a cabin and I had wanted to do like a weekend trip up north. Leave here Thursday, get up there and spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That sounds like fun.
And come back Monday.
Well, we know how to have fun, man. So,
yeah.
We end up getting vests and hats at the Great World's Live, so
Oh,
we drank a towel of beer.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember
and
that.
It had the whole bar like,
Yeah, I I remember that the guy gave us his vest and
had
all.
little fisherman hat, little shit on it, Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we gotta make it up there one day. But sure. But I guess this is gonna be a wrap for Off the Clock with Mo. Thank everybody for viewing it. Thank my brother-in-law for coming in and giving this aspect and this time and this knowledge of selling vehicles. Yeah. For those of y'all that may have didn't know some of the ins and outs of the ins of that, but thank you for showing up.
Yeah, for sure.